Hi guys, welcome back. I just want to show you how I've set up a keyboard controls override. So I've just loaded up my game, go back to escape, go controls. So this is what I've set up, which does work. The white ones I've got are the ones that are editable. For example, the battery, I can change that to anything. I click on it and it enters the top right. It's a bit hidden under the text there. It says enter new key. I'll just put, I don't know, whatever, X. So just type that in. It saves it and updates it and does everything right. So go back again, battery B. Yeah, so, oops, we just lost it. There it is. So I'll just show you how I did that. Got it all working and saving and everything, so it's alright. So basically, I've got a number of variables. The first thing I have set up is the load and save feature, which I've just called it that. Inventory keys has 3 items per key code. So that's the name of the variable that controls the key code. That's the actual number that's recorded under this variable, and that's the actual text to explain what it is. And these are all the keys. So they go in groups of 3. It's just saved as a CSV, and on opening I just load that up when it starts. So do a loop, read the information from the keys, apply it. So that set could be copy cube variable. Inventory keys IDX. It just scrolls through the length of the divided by 3 and sets up each variable with the one with the index that it finds, and index plus 1 is the actual number that should be applied to that variable which is in that file. So that loads that up, and during the game you get to the controls. Now this is the ones in white are the ones that are editable at the moment. So key run, for example, is that one. That's the node. Key run is the name of the node, but it's also the exact same spelling and of the variable that keeps the value of the keyboard control to run. In this case, it's shift. So I've got under each one of those here. You can see. So key run. When you click on it, all it does is it only just sends through, updates the variable key input to equal whatever value. In this case, it's a text value. I tried to use to send through the actual key variable that was recorded under the shift, but I had a bit of trouble with that, so I just went back to the text, and that works fine. So I've set that variable key input to equal the text key run, which is actually the name of the variable which records the key code, if that makes sense, the keyboard key code for run. In this case, it's shift. So anyway, it sends through the text, comes up here every 20 milliseconds. It says if it's not equal to null, as if you've actually pressed something here, then go ahead and register key down event. So that's this sort of standard is off the forum. It's just a one-off event. That's why every 20 milliseconds I have it to run. So if press down, apply that to key code variable. Is a temporary lookup variable I've got here. So the key input, if I was to press this here to change the value of the run, the keyboard control for run, from shift to something else, it'll send through the value of the text of the variable key run as key input. That's the key input. So in other words, and then that becomes lookup. So we look up the look up a new information in another table. Set copy cube variable key input null. So in other words, it's already received what it needs to change and look at, so I don't need to keep working with it. So every 20 seconds, milliseconds later, I don't need this to be constantly refreshing every 20 milliseconds. So now just tell it to stop, don't do anything. We've got it. We're going to work with that. So play the sound. That prompt that comes up the top right, press a key. That just tells it here to go invisible. Don't need that anymore. So now keys all is an array table of data. It's looking at the index of the key code that you pressed, so it knows it wants to find the text. So new text equals keys all IDX -1, which is just this index here. It's the text comes first and the number comes after it. So I'll just show you that. I've recorded that. When this control scene loads, before loading, keys lookup. So this is where it finds the, if you change the key, it looks it up here, it looks up the number and then it finds the text. So example, you press 8, it looks up and then it finds, oh, that's the text for that is the backspace key. So it knows what the text is and the number, already knows the number. So that's this whole table here of information. It's a little bit more than the standard JavaScript stuff that you get online. For example, JavaScript codes, it's a little bit more than this. For example, some of these don't have enough information. This has got, CopperCube uses a lot more extra stuff, like you've got shift right, shift left, control right, alternate left, alternate right. So it's got all those. Those are the main ones I had to add in that were not there before when I was testing every single key out. So basically every single key can be mapped basically. I did not test the Windows key. I just didn't want the thing to do something crazy. I don't know, maybe you can use that too, but I didn't try it. Everything else I tried. I've even added some other stuff in there that's not normally on a keyboard. You've got different multimedia keyboards there and there. So basically all the yeah, you can use all that stuff. So everything is there. If you want to select pretty much anything on the whole keyboard, you can make use of it actually. I think there was one scroll lock. I think that was the only one that I didn't use. Pretty sure. Everything else I tested, it actually did work. I didn't bother testing escape because I don't want the thing locking, you know, pulling out of the while I'm trying to get things to run. But other than that, yeah, all works. So what it does is, going back here once again to my 20 milliseconds function. It's a little bit complex, but has to do a few things. So it's hidden the prompt, it's got the key, it looks up from the table, keys all, finds the index, finds the text for it. Because that's really all I wanted. Just wanted to know what the text for that new code that you just inputted, because it already knows the key code. It's under all that variable key code already. It already knows that. Then I find here, go down to my saved array of data called inventory keys, which is loaded up at the start of the game. So basically, I want to update that to save data file. So it's saying within that array of data called inventory keys, find lookup. In this case, it was the key input you sent through, which was actually a text. And then, so in my order of that text file, you can see it's the text, then the number, and then sorry, okay, we'll call it this way. It's the variable, the name of the variable, then the code, and then the text of the key itself. So this is just updating that in that array. So it's loaded the array in memory. It's saying, then it's saying, so it's found the that lookup, which is the actual name of the variable. The one after it is the key code. So it's saying, if you've changed it now, update the key code that you've pressed here, put it into the array, update the new text that you found, new text here, which is just found from the lookup of the main table, set the CopperCube variable. So the thing is with the information in this here save file, that's not just that is an actual variable. That's the name of the variable, but it's also the name of the nodes. I've used them twice for simplicity. So so that's saying set CopperCube. So lookup here is a variable, records the name of a string, which is the name of the variable, which is, yeah, you can do that, which is interesting. So you can have a variable recording the name of the variable. I don't know how far you can keep doing that, but anyway. So CopperCube variable, so lookup, in this case, it's the key input was key run. So that's the name of the variable hidden as a value under this variable. So it's saying set CopperCube variable key run to the new key code, which is whatever you entered when you reset the keyboard control. Then it's saying node equals, because the name of the node is the same as that's a text string or variable as well, and set that text to the new text that it's looked up from the table. And then it's just here, just save that, then update it and save that array as the data file. So you can see here that the name of the actual exact same name of the variable is also the same name as the node. I've just kept that for simplicity's sake, so you can reuse it. Don't have to keep too many more variables, you know what I mean? Yeah, so that's basically how I did it. It's quite a bit involved, but it does work. So that's good. Yeah, so I've got all this in capitals because, well, it doesn't really matter, but it's just because when I'm updating and changing the language in the game, it's looking for that exact same text, and it'll just override it. That's not finished yet, by the way. It's just, there's only got two words in there now. I've got to update that with all these words and all the ones in green. That's going to be a huge update. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. Hope that helps. You can do it. You just need to follow the procedure to something like how I've done it, basically, and then it'll work. No worries. Okay. Cheers.